Good afternoon, I'm Cody Alcorn. Tori has the day off, and we are following up on that deadly crash that shut the interstate down for hours on Thursday. It was breaking news here all afternoon. 3 people died in this crash, including a couple from Townville and a woman from Virginia. Troopers say that semi slammed into the back of several parked cars there, or stopped cars inside the chute. The other 6 people hurt in this crash are expected to survive. Now, we did send our Fox Carolina drone up, and you can see the 2 isolated lanes which go around this construction project. The goal here is to widen I-85. The construction lanes are single lanes with concrete on both sides. They're referred to as chutes. Now, this has been the case since 2017, and we've seen hundreds of crashes since the project started, and 6 deaths already this year. The Cherokee County coroner described the chute as a death trap. He's asking the governor and state officials to step up and take action before anyone else is killed.
It's a death trap because it's sort of like being a house that's on fire with no windows and no doors. You can't get out. That's what happened yesterday. There was a rear-end collision. One vehicle began to stop, and it was a chain reaction. So you had all these people, they can't go left, they can't go right. Only thing they can do is hit each other. It's a domino effect. It's a dangerous situation. You don't have to be a traffic engineer with DOT to say this isn't working. They've looked at it, they've expanded it. They say it works well. It has great reviews in other places. It's not working here. So why do we have to sacrifice the lives of people, of motorists, just for the construction of the interstate?
The coroner says it makes him sick every time he gets a call about a person killed in the chute. He went on to explain it's also dangerous for first responders. We did reach out to Congressman Ralph Norman. Now, Cherokee County is in his district. Representative Norman says he avoids this stretch of I-85 at all costs. He says something has to be done, and done now.
I think the speed ought to be cut. When you have these type of accidents, deadly accidents, you cut the speed. You put people that enforce it. And then you pre-think, somehow this needs to be the construction needs to speed up. To be on this since 17, this has taken a long time. And I know the DOT's backed up, but there are other areas that they're doing construction that aren't the hazard that these are.
Now, we did reach out to the DOT. They put out a statement saying many of the crashes are caused by 18-wheelers driving in the wrong lane. The statement says they are working with local law enforcement to come up with a solution, but didn't give any specifics to us on what's actually being done. Traffic reporter Chris Scott now joining me. So, Chris, it's obvious something has to be done out there along this stretch of interstate.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And as I mentioned in that report, speed is one of the major factors along that stretch of construction. Confusion is also, Cody, a factor. There were early on, they need signs to tell people where to go, how to go. That was an issue early on. So I have been corresponding with some folks on Twitter earlier today, I should say, and just to explain a little bit, they were even asking what are the chutes? Well, they are temporary barriers dividing those lanes. 2,300 plus accidents since the beginning of this in 2017, and that's probably up now. We had a report, I think Cody had one in March early on about that. 18-wheelers are designated to be in a certain chute. They are not always doing that. This one yesterday reported was not in the correct chute. They need to know where to go. The coroner calling it a death trap, and it is. 2,300 accidents since 2017, 12 deaths since March, and adding these 3 as well. So it is a dangerous location, no doubt about it, Cody. I think everybody is speaking up about it is certainly going to help. That's going to get us going in the right direction. They got to get it finished. That's the biggest thing, and just kind of figure out what they can do. When those chutes are up and those walls are up, not only does it block that particular area, but as we mentioned, the first responders have to be on either side of that, which blocks other lanes. So there's no win for it until they get it figured out.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. And we are committed to you here at Fox Carolina, and our crews have been on the ground talking to local officials, as you've heard already in this newscast. We also caught up with people who live nearby. Some tell us drivers, they need to be more careful. Others say the DOT needs to step up here and do something finally. And now we have that perspective of a family member whose loved one is recovering after his car was smashed between the 18-wheeler and a barrier during this crash. Teresa Bowles talked to the driver's son. Teresa, what have Gaffney drivers been telling you who you've caught up with?
Right. I mean, even right now, Cody, look behind me. The traffic is starting to build up on this area of I-85 near Gaffney already. However, after yesterday's tragedy, Gaffney residents have been going back and forth on social media about who should be held accountable. Driver error, or is this an SCDOT safety issue? These are some of the awful pictures we've received from viewers showing how horrific this crash was. The Cherokee County coroner himself said, quote, "We cannot lose any more lives at the sacrifice of a road project." And more Gaffney residents have been talking about how the barriers on the sides of I-85 near Gaffney have made it difficult for drivers to have somewhere to go in the event of an accident. There is even a petition on change.org for the SCDOT to evaluate that area, and it has over 1,200 signatures last time I checked, probably more now because that's in counting. On the contrary, some have argued that drivers should slow down and pay attention to signage in the area. Highway Patrol says the crash was a chain reaction. Peyton Crowder's father was hit by the 18-wheeler during this accident, flipping upside down. His name is Eddie Crowder, and he was recently released from the hospital. Here's what his son says.
Called the death chute for a reason. And I think it's a downright shame that the SCDOT hasn't done more to protect the citizens of South Carolina and travelers alike on our roads. Because it's not a new thing. It's not something that's just not happening, just driver error.
This is Peyton's father. He says that he has some nerve damage, needed stitches, and will likely need plastic surgery due to the extent of his injuries. I also spoke to the woman who started that change.org petition. I'll have more from her ahead at 5. Back to you, Cody.